Hey guys, welcome to another recap of Dancing with the Stars. I guess Recap Cat didn't get the new TV schedule yet because he didn't show up for the recap. Alright, so we have to start by talking about Brooke Burke. Brooke, what the hell were you wearing? The peekaboo dirty pillow window needs to be boarded up, never to be opened again. We need to put the cement blocks over that and not show that ever again. Okay, yes, your boobs are spectacular, but you know what? This is ABC. They're better than that. Alright, so let's talk about the dances now that I got that off my chest. Rashawn and Chelsea. They had a quick step. And this was a really great dance to open the show. They did a great job. The two of them are really great together. And Len is such a little bee. Every single dance, he's the lowest scoring judge. So they would have had 3 9s if Len hadn't given them an 8. So they ended up with a 26, and then from last week a 23, so they have a 49 so far. Sherry and Val up next with Jive. She was having such a great time that she freaking forgot the steps. But she did make a good recovery. Unfortunately, there was a whole lot of shaking going on during this dance, but not much Jive content. But the judges have like this weird double standard thing going on for their little pet favorites. Len was all like, oh, it's okay, I didn't mind that there wasn't much jive in there. But then he ends up giving her a 7. I don't know. 23 for this week, 23 for last week, 46 combined. Alright, now let's talk about Melissa and Max. They had a quick step, and we find out that Lil Half Pint has dated Billy Idol. Alright, well, you know, if you're going to be a name dropper, his name is not the name that I'd want to be dropping, because wasn't he involved in that whole Heidi Fleiss hooker thing? So chances are, while he was dating you, he was going to go get his business done by some hookers, too. So I would not be dropping his name. I wouldn't be proud of it, either. Alright, so where do we begin with her? Her frame was horrible. She had problems with the steps. She was making scary faces. There was not much dance content going on besides the typical Max got stuck with a bad partner, so he has to just walk around the stage in time to the music with her. Basically, it was a cluster. So they ended up with a 20, combined with their 20 from last week is a 40. Alright, Jack and Anna up next. They had a jive, and I have to say, I was a little surprised. It was pretty respectable for an old geezer. So, and he is an old geezer. He's a lovable old geezer. He kind of reminds me of that old actor that I can't think of his name now. He was always drunk all the time. I loved him. He was always in the old movies with like Peter Sellers and stuff. I can't think of it. I'm sure Maddie knows who I'm talking about. But I liked him. They ended up with a 21. I thought that was about right. 23 from last week. It kind of sucks when you don't do as good as you did the first week, though, and you go backwards, so 44 combined. Gladys Knight and Tristan with a quick step. She had a horrible frame, but she had fun. It was all too casual. You know, she had a good time, but who wouldn't with Tristan? Come on. She funked it up, and you know what? You just don't funk up the quick step. It's got to be respectable. So Len was a total bitch and gave her a 5. Oh, 19 for this week, 23 for last week, and that's a 42. See, another one who didn't do as good as last week, although I think Len was très harsh. Catherine and Mark, they had a jive, and they started out like they were playing craps. I thought, wow, that is a huge prop for this dance, but wow, it was a huge dance. They totally tore it up. I'm surprised they didn't get 3 solid 9s. But of course, Len strikes again with his 8. So 26 from this week, 26 from last week, 52. They're at the top of the leaderboard. All right, so last week's tie leader also went next, Jaleel and Kim. They had a jive. And he did really great, except it was lukewarm. It was a casual jive. And again, the judges were freaking harsh. Not just Len this time. Carrie Ann was a little bit harsh, I thought, as well. He ended up with a 22. Combined with last week's 26. Oh, he went backwards. 48. Still a high score. I mean, I'm not worried about him going home, but I thought that was a little harsh. So Maria and Derek were up next, and they had a quick step, and I don't know how she has gotten through life with that laugh. It's like a freaking horse. I mean, and it's not even put on. That's her laugh. How does she even do that? I'd be choking all the time. All right, so it was really a very good routine. I'm sure her and Derek have put in many, many hours. She lost her step in the middle, though. But it was a fun dance, I have to agree. A 9, though, Bruno? No, it wasn't. So 25 for this week, 21 from last week, 46 total. So Martina and Tony were up next with jive. Poor Tony. I don't know what they were thinking when they put her in that costume. She had a muffin top. You know, why would you want to make her look bad? They tried to put that fishnet over her, but that didn't hide anything. The whole thing was bear in a swamp. I'm sorry. It was almost a Gosselin 2.0, but she was slightly better than Kate Gosselin. The judges didn't think so, though. She ended up with a 17. Again, went backwards. 20 last week, 37. She's at the bottom. All right, Donald and PETA with a quick step. He had an awesome time, and so did everybody else watching it because it was really great. Big improvement from last week. I thought last week, you know, even though Len apologized for not giving him a higher score, the content was not there last week. This week, the content was there, and he really tried. So he deserved the 24 this week. Last week was a 21, so that's 45 combined. He looks like a total fan favorite, though. I don't see him going home anytime soon. Gavin and Karina up next with a jive. He was totally channeling Brando. Sorry, it was like a mashup between like Gavin and Brandon. He's so pasty though, and he's like not a old guy, but he acts like an old guy. And that hat that might as well scream like rip me off because there's something scary going on under here. You know, obviously you're losing your hair, but you know what? You should just own it. It would be so much better than the creepy hat. It's killing me. I feel so bad for the guy. I just want to free him. But he had a lazy jive. And I mean, he's in good shape. He could have done like a really hot jive, but I guess it's not in the cards for him. Bruno was all sexed up, but you know what, Bruno? Just don't take that hat off because it'll send you in the opposite direction. All right, 21 for this week, 20 last week, 42 total. Gavin, I love you, but take that hat off. All right, William and Cheryl. They closed the show with their quick step. You know he's the Mexican Brad Pitt. Or the Brad Pitt of Mexico. I don't think he's Mexican. I think his show is on in Mexico. He started out really strong. And he seems to have some natural ability, but it kind of fell apart here and there. It was teetering. And it didn't matter to the judges, though. Well, Len scored it appropriately, but Carrie Ann and Bruno were totally kissing butt. They gave him 9s, and I'm like, a 9? Are you freaking kidding me? That wasn't even worth an 8. 25 for this week, 24 for last week. They ended up with a 49. I think that score was overinflated, but they had some butt kissing to do. Tomorrow night's going to be the first elimination show. They're going to have Sugarland and Matt Nathanson on. I know Sugarland, but I don't know Matt Nathanson. I'm eager to check him out. Alright, so kids, one celeb's going home. Leave it in the comments who you think it is. Obviously, it's probably going to be Martina. Or I went out with Billy Idol. Till next week, till next time. Not till next week. Till tomorrow. Much love.